Hey guys, number one Marmaduke fan here. Let's shoot for some 1 minute reviews. All right, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Volume 4. I've given a rave review to all three volumes of this so far, and 4 is just continuing the excellence established in volumes 1 through 3. Something I'll say about this I haven't said about the others is I think they picked up that in Twilight Princess there's this recurring theme of dealing with trauma where Midna says to Link, "You've had a terrible fate has befallen you, hasn't it?" And Midna, a terrible fate has befallen her. Zelda, a terrible fate has befallen her. Ilya, a terrible fate has befallen her. Now, in the game, one of my commenters mentioned it's actually kind of one of the more forgettable games. I feel like it's very derivative of Ocarina of Time, but I feel like the Akira Himekawa team have just picked up on the theme, they've nailed it, and they're adding enough to actually kind of bring some of the subtext to the front. And I want to highlight this one great scene. So this is something that's completely original to the manga. You don't see this in the game because you're just running around as Link. So your situation isn't so unusual. So this is kind of like 40-year-old wise woman to young Ilya who's traumatized and has been kidnapped and rescued and lost her memories, and she doesn't know who she is and what she's doing. It happens to all young people, and not just young people either. It can happen when you're older too. In life, sometimes bad things happen, and whether you remember them or not, once they're in the past, you have to let them stay there. Whatever happened is done with. You get the chance to start again. Now, today, and tomorrow, you get to invent a new you. You can't change your past, and you can't change who you were. You can only decide who you're going to be. And I kind of love that a lot of the character designs in Twilight Princess, they suggested interesting personalities and characters. You maybe got hints or sketches of characters, and then they just had the sense to kind of tap into that and bring that out. So I feel like both of these manga, what kind of connects them is they're both fantasy stories, but maybe kind of focusing on a different powerful idea of the fantasy story. So the fantasy story in Twilight Princess is become a man, work your butt off, and then get knocked to the ground, and now drag yourself up off the ground, and you go at it again, and you keep going at it again until you get stronger and you become the man you need to be to protect those you love. Fairy Cube is kind of more like the vibe of the world is dangerous, kids, and if you go out into the forest, the fairies will get you and kidnap you, and you'll never get home again. I said about Volume 1 of Fairy Cube is it's kind of like the weird, really dark fan fiction that your classmates wrote in sophomore English that was kind of good, but also kind of full of weird, dark fairies and kids with purple eyes, one purple eye and one green eye, and his dark self that just followed him. And I kind of love it because it is, I think the word to describe Fairy Cube by Kaori Yuki is Gothic. She actually she describes that as her interest in her bio. She's interested in Gothic storytelling. She's interested in looking at Europe, and I think she's realized that European fairy stories are very similar to Japanese fairy stories, where it's this other world. It's just kind of out there. It's a bit threatening, and you could just wind up in there by accident. And fairies, they are cute little butterflies. Sometimes fairies will help the children, magically get back to their home, and sometimes fairies will just mess you up if you're the nasty guy, barging into their world unannounced. And her writing style has almost no transitions at all. I couldn't tell you where one chapter begins and another ends, and things just keep happening immediately in you can't really describe it in words. You kind of have to just experience it, and you'll kind of start laughing. I don't hate it. It's maybe a faux pas of writing to have things keep just happening at this crazy a pace without a break, but I'm just laughing, and I'm just saying, okay, I guess they're terrorists now, let's go. The motorcycle goes flying by. He's perfect, everyone is acting weird. Ian, you've changed. What is this, a terrorist attack? It's no school today, go home. Things were fine yesterday. Go away, Ian. Red blood, signs of struggle. Ian, something's here. He's different, his face always heck if I know what's going on. But it's really great. She just keeps things clicking. There's a global warming evil organization planning to take over the world and destroy civilization so they can make green spaces and kill humanity to make room for fairies. I want Alex Jones to review and explain the plot of Fairy Cube. I think that you have to be on an Alex Jones level to understand what is going on here. I want to take a quick look at the ending comments because there's some nice stuff. Karayuki. She's also a mother, which is kind of unusual. A lot of these mangaka are single, and she'll actually talk about, like taking your child to the hospital and her child being almost 2 years old and kind of being mischievous, and that inspires, one of the mischievous fairies. I feel like she's got maybe like a good sense for like kids storytelling where exciting things are just happening, and she does talk about like some of the deeper things. She has her characters go through some really dark stuff like Twilight Princess, but she's moving so fast it's almost like you barely have time to process it before the next thing. But Kaori Yuki was born in Tokyo and started drawing at a very early age. And she's a very good illustrator too. Following her debut work, Natsufuku no Eri, Ellie in Summer Clothes, in the Japanese magazine Bisastu Hana to Yume, she wrote a compelling series of short stories, Cruel Fairy Tales, I'm not going to try to pronounce this stuff, Screw, and Gravel Kingdom. As proven by her best-selling series Angel Sanctuary and Godchild, her celebrated body of work has etched an indelible mark on the Gothic comics genre. She likes mysteries and British films and is a fan of the movie Dead Poets Society and the television show Twin Peaks. So it's fairies, but if fairies were actually cool and not just weird little dumb Disney pixies. And then for Legend of Zelda, Akira Himekawa, they just kind of comment beautifully on their experience touring the United States and Germany. In 2017, we were invited to be guests at fan events, 1 in Germany and 2 in the US, where we signed autographs and met with fans. We were moved all over again at how appreciation of manga is the same all over the world, across cultures and customs. We hope that the manga will continue to reach as many people as possible from now on as well. I love this team. All right, 2 high recommends. I mean, like, Twilight Princess is such a high recommend. You should actually go out and buy this. Pick up Fairy Cube if you get a chance. I think it's a weird, unusual writing style. Okay, with that, I'm #1 Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. Catch you later.